Hi, my name is Kevin Kingston, and this is my Pechakucha style presentation on my music history. Um, this is basically the history of. I decided to do mine on my entire life, starting from 7th grade up till now, on everything music wise that I've ever done. So, first, choosing band as my elective, it took a lot of convincing to get my parents to let me do that because they thought it'd be a waste of time, waste of money because it was a lot of money to enroll in the program. And so it took a lot of convincing to me. My siblings were helping, and eventually my parents just whittled down. And I would say the end product, they were very proud. The instrument picking. At first, it wasn't even our decision. It was our teacher's decision. She went around the room and found out what we could do, not what we wanted to do. So I ended up making a sound on the headpiece for a flute. So I ended up playing flute pretty much more than half of my music career. Beginning band was pretty nice. Like I said, I played the flute. We learned basic notes, how to read music, how to do everything. We learned some songs in the beginning. It was very tough in the beginning. I couldn't get it down. It was very, very hard. I remember struggling a lot with with the flute and everything else that had to do with that class. My first concert, though, man, those nerves. Sitting up there, I had huge stage fright. Sitting up there in front, especially my family was front row. Everything, all the principal were there, the faculty, and just playing those songs. It was very nerve wracking at first. And then when it started, it was just like everything just melted away, and music was the only thing that was left. Symphonic band was different. I was playing for a whole year, and I had everything down. So then we started like beatboxing on the flute and doing all the fun stuff like Mario themes and having a joy. And this is when music started to really become prominent in my life. I started to look up different songs on YouTube and learn how to play them on my own time. Leaving behind junior high was sad, definitely. I made so many friends during music, and that teacher was the best. She stayed with me through all my struggles. She never gave up on me. Mrs. Sherman was her name. She was great. Lake Asbury Junior High here in Florida. It was a wonderful experience, and it led me to my future. The first meeting I played high school, I remember the whole way there, my friends were talking about how horrible this band teacher was, and how he was so mean to everybody. And when we got there, he was just what everybody said to me. He was very cruel and very rough, but that was because he wanted us to learn, and I respect him a great deal now that I'm pretty much an adult, sort of. My first band camp, that was rough. Going out there in 100-degree weather in Florida, marching every day, having to learn how to hold my hands a certain way and how to play a certain way and how to walk a certain way. Basically, everything you just forgot, and it was miserable all the time. But it was definitely worth it come show season and everything else that had to do with that year. The ending performance was a little rough. All of us, our parents were there. We had pizza and sodas to celebrate afterwards. But yeah, we played our show. I remember my freshman year show exactly. It was a Beatles show. We played the Beatles music. The flutes were front row, so I remember seeing my parents and them smiling at me. My first football game at that was a blast. Everything that had to do with that was just amazing. You got the fans cheering, football's going on. We're playing show tunes like Sweet Caroline and Radioactive by Imagine Dragons and having a good old time just playing around, having a blast. There was nothing stressful about that. Everybody was just, that was a goal. The realization, the end of freshman year, that I actually hated the flute with a passion. I never wanted to touch it again. I realized that I fell in love with percussion, with the drums. I always looking at them, always talk with them. The majority of my friends were in percussion, so this was when I realized that I really wanted to play drums. Our first drumline meet, that was a blast. They taught me how to crab walk. This drum I had to crab walk. I put on that 60-pound bass drum, was walking around with that, getting used to that, playing, and that was a blast. That was the first time I really had fun since that first football game. It was a real blast to play the bass drum, and I loved everything about it. The performance test. So we had to go back to school. Mr. Beck, my band teacher, had to test us to see what instrument we wanted to play, and I was one of the few people that could play the bass run for our show. It was Western, and it had like a six couplet bass run, and I was one of the only ones who could play it, and I was my first time touching a drum. I just practiced a lot. The drumline football games, now those, I thought regular football games were fun. Drumline football games were the best time I ever had. We don't sit down. We just stand there. We're just dancing around our schemes. We're playing cadences, show tunes with the band, and when the band's not playing, we're playing cadences, doing our own music that we wrote ourselves, and everything was just a blast. We competed with the other drum lines. Moving to Pitt was a different thing. My junior year, they had to move me to Pitt because I was the only one that could play the run on the Superman show. So we had a Superman show and has a big bass run. So we spread out all the drums, and I was the only one that could move my hands in coordination fast enough to play the part. So I didn't have to march that year. I just stayed in Pitt. Leadership tryout. Junior year, I decided I wanted to be drum captain my senior year. Or junior and senior year. And so and and Mr. Beck really liked my position. He gave me the position of drumline captain. So I became the drum captain my junior year. This was a thing that made all my family upset. I was only taking 3 classes my senior year, and band was 6th period, and I didn't want to do it anymore. I was tired of Mr. Beck. He was rude. Everybody was mean to me, and so I just was like, whatever, I'm just going to stop. I'll continue playing music on my own time. And I just stopped and got a job. Music to me today is different. I write my own music. I have a drum set. I never stop playing music. I never stop playing my drums. It is a complete passion to me, and I love it so much, and I will never, ever stop. I love it writing my own music and playing what I create. Everything about it is just awesome and amazing, and I would never, ever give up that amazing opportunity.